guys, it's Resin Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be trying a little bit of an experiment. I am in the process of getting ready to move, and I've been going through stuff, just kind of downsizing and getting rid of things, and I came across this box that has been packed up for a while, a few years, and I used to be on the Ice Resin design team, and I have a whole bunch of packages of ice resin applicators, and they're all at least 4 years old. I did not even realize I still had these, or I would have used them long ago, but you can tell that one of the parts has really turned color, so I'm not sure if these are actually going to work or if they're so far expired that they won't work anymore. So today is kind of an experiment to see if this resin will work. I've got nothing to lose. I've got all these. I might as well mix some up and see if it'll cure. I imagine that it's probably going to be a yellow tint, so the only way it's probably not going to be a clear resin, so I'm going to be adding colorants and things like that. So hopefully this will work out. But ice resin is a fun resin to use if you've not ever used it. It's such a handy thing for filling like jewelry bezels and things like that. I've always really liked ice resin as well. But basically you just clip off the end, squeeze all that stuff out, and mix it together. You don't have to measure, you don't have to weigh, you don't have to do anything but squeeze it out of the applicator and mix it together, and you have a certain amount of, this much resin, which actually goes a long way if you're doing like bezels and, jewelry items, things like that. But today I'm going to be using it to fill some little bezels like this, or some little molds like this, and we'll just test it. I'm just going to test it, see if it'll actually cure, and if it will, then I have lots of resin to play with while I'm waiting for my Sophie and Toffee subscription box. And so yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, and you can see as I'm working, and then I will show you at the end. We'll find out what the result is. This stuff takes at least 24 hours to cure, so I'd like to give it, a good amount of time to go ahead and cure. It's just like any other two-part epoxy resin. You have to let it cure, but you got to pop that little thing out of the center, and then you cut these ends off. Squeeze. And you can use part of it, but working with it, you would only want to use, it has this thing so that you can use part of it to mix up, and then you have this little cap that you can put on to save it, basically. But you want to use, with the ice resin, you want to use at least half of the applicator. You don't want to use just like a little bit for one bezel or something. The reason for that is that you don't generally get a good mixture, and you can have issues with it not wanting to cure. So we always just recommend that you go ahead and use at least half the applicator, but I prefer to use the whole thing. We'll get this party started, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so it is 24 hours later, and it looks like the resin worked just fine, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm excited that I'm going to be able to use those. Like I said before, definitely not good for doing clear because it's already gotten this kind of yellowish tint because it's old, but there you go. You can use your ice resin when it's old. So we'll just get into this demolding. Let's see here. Ooh, I don't know. It's a little soft. So I don't know. Let's see. Possible that ice resin is not a great fit for molding, or maybe it just needs a little bit more time because it is still quite bendy. I'm going to demold it and let it set for another 24 hours probably, and we'll see if that helps it any. Maybe it's not 100% finished curing yet, because 24 to 48 hours. So set that off to the side for now. Yeah, it's quite bendy. I've never actually tried molding anything with ice resin, so it could just be that it's a softer resin, but I'll give it another day and hit you guys with an update. But yeah, I love how that's turned out. It's really cute. That just subtle sparkle there. Obviously I've got to do some cleanup, but I'll wait till tomorrow to see if those, I wonder if these larger pieces bend. Not as much as those actually, so I'm excited about this one. I've never used this mold before, so I'm kind of happy to make a strawberry. Ooh, look how cute! Okay, I dig it. Even though it did come over a little too far there, I'm not truly worried about that. But, oh, look how cute it is. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so adorable. It's very subtly sparkly. I love that you can see the glitter and it's not super sparkly. I love how the little seeds came out. Super cute. It's got a little air bubble hole there, but you know, easy to fill in with some UV resin. That's why I like UV resin. So that's pretty cute. We got this one. I love this pattern that it made here. This is really cool. This is the first time I've used this one as well. Yeah, I like that. I like how that's got these little speckles down in there. Kind of cool looking. Sorry guys. Too cool. You can see it's got some air bubbles, but not a big deal. I was doing that pretty quick. I was kind of rushing it a little bit due to time, but those are very easy to fill in, and you know, these will be shakers, so it'll have some film over it, so all of those little tiny air bubble spots will get filled in with resin, and so I'm pretty happy about that. So one of those ice resin tubes makes about this much, and I did have just a little bit left of each color that I didn't use, mainly because there wasn't enough of each color, but you could probably do a couple more rings if it was all the same color or something. So one applicator of the ice resin will make about that much stuff. A couple of small shaker mold type things, some little rings, so about that much resin there. So that was a good experiment, and looks like this is going to work for, you know, doing other things. I'm going to let these set another 24 hours just to see if they, you know, get a little more firm, and I'll let you guys know how that goes.